Hey everybody, this is Justin Gray, your friendly Midio dude, and I'm sitting here with my extremely good friend, longtime collaborator, Mr. Beau Black. Beau is an incredible songwriter, and we actually met because I was lucky enough to co-write and produce his first artist album back in 1937. And here we are today, all of these years later, almost 80 years later, still in the room, still working together and doing music for film and TV together. Beau is best known as the voice and writer of every song for Disney's The Lion Guard, as well as theme songs like Miles from Tomorrowland and Disney Mickey Mouse Racers. I don't know, did I get that? Mickey and the Roaster Racers. Anyway, Beau, thank you very much for joining us for 5 Questions With.
I feel like I don't need to say anything anymore. Like, you pretty much just talked me up, so...
And that's been 5 Questions With.
I'm going to only ruin this at this point.
It's like a mini podcast.
Yeah.
So I have a few questions for you. The first question is, when did you figure out that you could actually make a living doing music?
I'm still trying to figure it out. No, but I was strangely just forced on stage when I was 8 years old by my father, who was a famous singer in a group called Jay and the Americans from the 60s. This Magic Moment, Come a Little Bit Closer, he had a bunch of hits. And out of nowhere, one show he decided to bring me on stage and have me sing one of his songs. I had no idea it was going to happen. And then it went over so well that I became a part of the act. And I never knew anything different since then. I was on stage every show until I was in my maybe early 20s. So I guess I just kind of knew naturally.
That's a great question. Great answer. Do you still approach your work for shows as an artist, as a songwriter, or as a producer?
Ooh. I guess I have to wear all the hats at all times, I think. You have to be an artist in the sense that you are conveying whatever's inside you and what you feel and your vibe, and then you have to be a producer in how you can translate it to other people. And what was the other one? Songwriter?
Yes.
That's kind of, I think that goes hand in hand with artist. I think artist and songwriter are kind of the same thing. I mean, if you mean artist by performer, that's different. But I feel like writing it, I always approach it the same way.
I want to ask a B question to that.
Okay.
The B question is, when you're setting up, because you write to a briefs a lot, mm-hmm. right? So just maybe briefly explain what a brief is.
Okay. A brief is a brief explanation of what is needed for a particular scene, character. It's taking any sort of idea in a it is in a musical fashion, but it's taking creative ideas and trying to translate them into a musical direction.
Right. So when you read the brief before you've started doing any work,
I can't look at you while we're doing this.
When you read the brief before you started doing any work, do you envision the destination? In other words, do you already hear the way it's supposed to sound, or so how much is sort of improvisation versus sort of planning?
It's, I think, planning. The way I work when I'm writing these things, and especially after doing so many of them, and like...
What did you tell me? How many songs by the end of Lion Guard?
93. I have 12 left, and then we'll be at 93 songs. Wow. Within about 3 years. So at this point, I need to, when I read a brief and I get a little sense of the script and the character that's going to do it, I will let it kind of ruminate in my head for a while, and then I usually hear the whole thing in my head, and then I translate it down to a single instrument. I sing with it, and then I flourish it into like a full-on demo or recording.
Good. I'm going to skip to, you kind of answered this question, but maybe you can specify, because I know that most of the time you don't collaborate with other writers in the creative process, but you do collaborate with executives.
A lot of people, yeah.
Right.
Collaborate anyone from a high up exec to mostly the showrunners collaborate the most, and the producers, but sometimes you collaborate with even the animators and the storyboard artists who like need specific things to what they're drawing. I mean, it changes, every process. And then even recording all the voice actors is kind of a collaboration as well, because sometimes you need to like shift little things to their voice in the session, and also their personality. I'm basically collaborating all the time, even though I'm alone all the time.
Right. Alone together. You did touch on this, but not specifically. What is your favorite instrument to write with, or how do different instruments influence the song that you're working on?
I've been more and more on the piano in the last couple of years, and I think that just has to do with the show that I'm doing. I don't like, they're like bigger songs, so piano seems a little more appropriate. When I need to do something a little more rhythmic, usually on the guitar. But it's funny because I always hear drums first. I don't write on drums, but drums are the first thing I put down when I'm doing anything. And
Very
you're
cool.
like that too, right?
I am.
Usually put the rhythm down first.
Yeah, I do. But it's not about me. It's about you, brother.
Sorry.
And this is kind of a tough question. What is the one piece of advice you can give to someone wanting to get into writing original songs for TV and film?
Ooh. I wish I had a clever answer for this. You just have to do it. You have to do it at as much of a high capacity as possible. It's experience. You just do it. That there's no trick to it. You have to write and learn how to do your production. Try to be as less dependent on other people to translate what you want to get done, and just work at it. That's it. It's a pain in the ass, but it works.
I like it. Everybody, this is my friend Beau Black. You'll have all of his socials. Go check him out. And if you have kids that are between the age of 0 and 9, you have probably been tremendously annoyed by the incredible songs that he has written.
And I want to apologize for that.
Thanks a lot, Beau.
Yeah, you're welcome.